Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We are Baltimore positive and positively through the holidays on to Pittsburgh, as they say around here. And we're on to the Maryland Crab Cake Tour. We're getting after it this month, as we like to say. I didn't eat enough turkey or pumpkin pie. I mean, I had a good weekend, but I didn't do the full up thing. The whole GBMC colonoscopy thing last week has sort of made my appetite be maybe a little bit more sane through all of this. But that's not going to stop me from getting a little crazier as we get up onto the cookie season. By the way, I'm a cookie monster. My God, I love cookies. So we're doing 5 Maryland Crab Cake Tour stops this month, beginning with our friends at the Maryland Lottery and GBMC. We're going to be at Fadley's next Wednesday. We're going to be at Deep Pasquale's in Canton on Thursday. We're going to be at Honey's in Alethorpe next Friday. I'm going to be eating some pan-fried dumplings and some beef and broccoli. It's going to be delicious. And then we're going to be at Costas on the 18th with Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Regina Shock, as well as all my rock and roll treats. And then we've added this as a bonus. Dan Rodricks and John Shields, my cousin, Chef John Shields, at Gertrude's at the BMA. We're going to get cultured for the holidays as well on the 19th. So I'm all over town. I'm doing, and then we're doing Cup of Super Bowl and all the other usual spots at Pizza John's and Coco's and Costas and Dundalk. Leonard Raskin is one of our supporter sponsors. He handles money, handles the American dream, so I can run off and do things. Leonard, I'm into work, man. I mean, like, I'd love to tell you that I'm running here and there. I did all of that for months. You know, I've been everywhere, man, like a Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson song. I am off the road again, and I'm home now. And this Pittsburgh week thing. Ravens, it's a run for the bottom, isn't it, with these two right now, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it is. The Thursday night game was very discouraging. Uh, we haven't spoken since, but I watched. I was there, and
did you cancel Thanksgiving? How did you handle
No, we did Thanksgiving at 4 o'clock.
Now, what is that normal? Like, what's a normal Ravens are not playing at Thanksgiving in the Raskin house before?
Well, we were at my
Roger Goodell.
It might have been 5-ish. It might have been a 5-ish or 5:30 dinner. Instead, we did 4 o'clock.
You're not offended by Thanksgiving night? You prefer it or no? Okay.
No, I'm not worried about it. It was fine. So, family was all there, accommodated, the usual turkey and all the accoutrement. It was fabulous.
And then you left at like 6 o'clock, 6:30. Is that what you did?
And then actually we left at 7.
Okay.
From Timonium. 7 o'clock from Timonium. Got us downtown in plenty of time. We didn't get our gravy boat. We weren't the first 30,000 in, so no gravy boat for the Raskin house. That was the giveaway, in case you didn't know.
They gave a gravy boat away?
A rectangular Ravens gravy boat. You have to look it up. That was for the first 30,000 fans. We didn't get there. I will be sending.
You know what's hilarious is that thing is going to get used for the next 25 years at everyone's Thanksgiving. Right?
Absolutely, it's going to be tacky turkey Ravens gravy boat.
Tacky turkey. That's hilarious.
And you know what's funny? Now I have a bit of a pet peeve. Of course, this I'll express to my friends at the Ravens. We'll see what they say, but I'm of the belief, now this is just me being a first world snob, okay? I believe that since I have 50-yard line club seats and my tickets are the most expensive per game in the stadium, that I should be entitled to not have to worry about when I get there to get the giveaway.
Leonard,
that it should be
I swear
seat.
to you. I swear to you.
On my seat.
I swear to you on my life.
Yes.
The reason I am late with this segment as we tape it today is because Luke and I went overtime discussing the Orioles, which is why I'm wearing my orange Curio gear underneath here, right? So, and I'm freezing because it's going to snow and it's whatever. Leonard, and you know, and we're going to talk about a million things. You're wearing your Ohio State thing.
Absolutely.
You know, we're talking about everything but hockey here today. We'll talk about a bunch of stuff. But I got into it with Luke about the new reliever, right? And you got the WNST Tech Service, Gold Roofing, Gordian Energy, you know about it. 2-year, $28 million, right? So we're talking about that. Then we're talking about Rodriguez again and whether they're going to really spend any money in the winter meetings and all that. And we got 45 minutes into it. And then I rolled into how pissed off Oriole fans are. Like right now, like when I
really
see how angry the people that have supported this and have given them money. And I was just saying this. Katie Griggs is speaking for the Connects group on Elvis's birthday. So I'm going to wear my white jacket. Thank you very much. And I paid $100 to hear her and Sasha speak, and I'm going to bring that speech up again in a minute because I want to do the Ravens part of this on your Raven thing.
Right. Yeah.
But I serve sports fans, which is how you know of me and love me and partner with me. And all. For 35 years, I've been doing this, for better or worse, through Mark Fine and Greg Bader, through Chad Steele and Kevin Byrne, through Rick Vaughn, through Angelos, before Angelos. So I've been at this a long time, and I feel like on my best days, the people I really respect, people like Dennis Mannion, who ran the Dodgers and ran the Pistons, he would befriend me, and I would sit in his office, and he would always say, you get the temperature. You know the temperature of what the fans are thinking. And it's very obvious because I took the bus as a kid. I've lived here all my life. I was at the bar at Costas the other night. When I love being at the bar at Costas, some guy like you comes up and he says, let me start. Now, I'm a conservative. That's what they begin with. I'm like, dude, it's Thanksgiving. I don't.
Who cares?
It's Thanksgiving,
Who cares? Right.
But he just wanted to let me know that, we didn't vote the same way. So it's fine. And we had a nice time. We talked about it. But I'm out in the community and I talk to people. And the Oriole thing for me with the Birdland memberships and the money and all of that, here's one thing that Luke noticed last week that we talked about that I think everybody who's a fan notices. They have their promotional schedule together. Angelos never believed in doing anything. Angelos didn't believe in giving Jim Hunter his money or Fred Manfra or taking care of people. They fired Jeff Arnold last week. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't. The people that are loyal to these creeps, they're starting with how they treat Jim Palmer, which is disgraceful. But so I would just say my temperature about how poorly I've been treated, from going to the temple to meet Mr. Rubenstein and shaking his hand and saying there was trauma and having him literally turn his body away from me, to Mark Fine, to Chris Ullman. So I have my thing about not giving them money or whatever. And that they want to treat me like shit. And that's their prerogative, but I'm not, it's not going to be without the lights on. Now, that for the fans and for people out there, this promotional schedule's out now, and it's bobblehead night and it's this and it's that. When I think of any of those promotional nights, even if they were doing a 66 Luis Aparicio home white with my name on the back and a good, nice one that fit me, not one that looks like a tent, looked like David Byrne in the Talking Heads. That what would I be willing to endure on that particular day when it's 92 degrees and they're giving the Louis Aparicio bobblehead away, right? I would be willing to endure that these fans deal with in order to get the gravy dish. And I went long with Luke about it. And you're a guy, I don't want to call you rich or wealthy or this or that, but you have enough money that you live a nice life that you don't need a gravy boat. You don't need the gravy boat, but you're still pissed about it enough to mention it on the radio.
No,
you're still come on, man. You're just a come on, man. You know what I mean? Come on, I give you 10, 15, 20 grand a year. You're going to make me line up on a cold night on the holiday for a gravy boat? I'm saying that about fans who circle bobblehead night for Grayson Rodriguez, who's gone, and they want it, and it's such a nightmarish experience that it's almost either comical, like it is when you get in line at Disney World to get on the ride and it says you get 2.5 hours and you spend $300 to get into the fun park.
I'll be there.
It is amazing what people endure. For a gravy boat. That's all. And how mad they'll be if they don't get one.
Right, of course.
And I don't understand can't you just make everybody happy and give them all a gravy boat? You're $1 billion team. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean,
that's how I think.
70,000 of them, 70,000 couldn't cost that.
Does that make me a socialist? I don't want to go down that lane, but no.
No. I mean, in that vein, on Thanksgiving night, you could have had 80,000 of them as easily as 30,000 of them.
And then just sold the rest of them for $19.99 in a gift shop.
Right. Put them in the gift shop. Who cares? People want them. Let them have them.
Your sister could have one. Your mom could have one.
Right. I could have brought home
Howard could have one. All your relatives could have one.
3 of them and given 2 away at Christmas time. or two
You didn't make
Hanukkah
me stand in
presents.
line for this, and this has a double
No,
function. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
right. Cracking
You know.
crabs and open bottles, baby.
All right,
You
Leonard
better believe
Raskin's here.
it.
So,
So
I
anyway,
just dominated
the
the
game.
conversation about the
So
gravy
let's
boat,
let's
but I
let's
just
talk
want to
about the
say,
game.
treat the fans right,
That's right. Let's
please.
talk
That's
about the
all.
game. Uh, I watched it in person. I was not on TV able to see replays of magnitude, but Isaiah Likely dropping the ball in the end zone, followed by
Zay
Zay
Flowers
Flowers
push. Yeah.
with that push was the lightest push I've ever seen called. I've seen
Well,
guys
dude only weighs a
fight
buck
each other.
65.
What?
The dude only weighs a buck
Right.
65. How much is he gonna push you?
I've seen guys hand fight all the way down the field and no flag.
But Leonard, the arm extension, and Luke said he saw it from the Kevin Byrne press box, which isn't a very good seat. When you extend the arm, you're going to get that call.
Yeah,
and
that's
my
weak.
thought is when you coach it to him, and
Yep.
I talked about this a little bit because that's not his route. He doesn't run that route tree much. He's an across the middle, get him in space guy.
Yep.
So him doing hand checking down the field on a 6'2" cornerback sometimes is not his game, right? It's not his game. Whereas Hopkins is going to the Hall of Fame for pushing off, and so's Chase, by the way.
Right. And they get away with it all day long.
Right.
And the thing is, those 14 points, in my opinion, was a turning of the game. Obviously, you never know what's going to happen after that. It's not like they got the points. What happens? Can Cincinnati come back and score? But the momentum, the mood, the opportunity after those two negated touchdowns, to me, swung the whole game. And then I'll put this out, and I still don't understand it. I won't understand it until maybe I get to ask Harbaugh a question. I don't know. Where was Derrick Henry after that? You got to run the ball, and they were running all over him. He ran all over him, and then they bring in on 3rd and 2 Ali, or they bring in. Now I get Keaton Mitchell fine, but if I didn't see the stats, I didn't look it up, but I'm guessing in the second half we totally stopped running the ball.
They did stop running the ball.
I don't understand. You're down 4. 12, what was it, 12-9 or 12-10 or whatever it was? I mean, you got to run that
Lamar
ball.
didn't throw the ball well. If Lamar threw the ball better.
I don't care if he threw the ball well or not. You got to run the ball.
And as I pointed out, he threw a touchdown pass to Zay Flowers to Isaiah Likely that got taken off the board for him.
That's right.
So it wouldn't have looked like such an empty effort. But in the end for them, Lamar's health and his ability to be
he ran a couple times. He looked fine. I don't know. He looked fine to me when he was running. Now, he didn't look like he was trying to take off and swirl and beat guys.
He wasn't going to get caught by a defensive lineman. I saw that much.
Right.
But his desire to go down the field was not there. It was more of his desire to run out of bounds.
Correct. And so that's something they got to address. But I still didn't see the fake handoff. I didn't see the RPO. I didn't see Derek with the ball. And I just don't get it.
The offensive line has not been great
they're
on
terrible.
those plays.
Terrible.
And
terrible.
they have an RPO quarterback that they don't want to RPO because they don't want him running.
The line is not good. And I've never played that position, and so I don't know. And I've watched a lot of football, but they look just not good. So, as that all said, it's Pittsburgh week, as Bill Belichick is famous for saying, it's on to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
it's on to Pittsburgh.
I said to Luke, what's keeping Harbaugh awake at night other than Lamar's health and his ability to be outstanding again? Because he's going to need to be outstanding over these next 5 games. Because 3-2, 2-3 is not going to get it done.
But no, 4-1. Buffalo gave us the recipe for beating Pittsburgh. Just run for 250 yards. My goodness, they destroyed them. They ran the ball all over them. As I think I heard it was the biggest rushing game against a Pittsburgh team ever.
In the stadium. Yeah, since the
stadium.
Yeah, well, and then before that was Steel Curtain. Nobody ran on them in the 70s and early 80s.
But my goodness, they destroyed them. They showed us how to beat them. And now if we could take that recipe, throw a couple passes, run them down the throat, you got to beat Pittsburgh because that's the division. And then we'll see what they do in Cincinnati. Maybe they can go up there and take one from them on their home field. Who
Leonard
knows?
Raskin is here. He is Raskin Global. He follows the American dream. I've got the Raskin Global gear on. You can find him at raskinglobal.com. You can find him at the front of Baltimore Positive. And obviously, at the end of the year here, we get together, family. You had family last week, coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm telling people, check on the colonoscopy thing. Check on the health in general. GBMC is
Absolutely.
always there for you. I appreciate all that and what they did to help me sleep and know better and tell better and educate better through all of that. Money's the same way as we get into that. Leonard, I did want to say this to you as part of when you left the game the other night.
Yeah.
At whatever point that was, and
Yeah.
you've been to all the home games this year. You're a
Yep.
you're a guy. You're a PSL guy, who, by the way, abstained after the Wembley knee. But it's another
Yes.
story altogether. You've been
Right.
through that. You weren't.
2 years.
You did go away. I've been
Yep.
gone. I'm in my fourth year of exile after 26 years of giving them money and being down there
Yep.
and living
Yep.
down there, and my wife and her illness, just all of it. Right, home and away. I did all the games. Watching it from afar now, and I spent my $100 2 months ago to go breathe the same air as Sashi
Right.
Brown. And I think I told you when the question came about the complaint department, his complaint department was, how do I get home quicker after the games? Well, one thing you do is you leave early and
Yeah.
you beat the traffic or
There was
whatever.
a lot of people impersonating purple seats.
Two things I want to say as
Yeah.
Pittsburgh
Yeah.
rolls in this week, okay?
Yep.
Three if you count the Orioles, which are their own thing, which you sniff around, you go talk to you. I did the Italian men's group, the Italian Associated a charity group over at Pappas 3 weeks ago. And it was a
Yep.
bunch of guys that look like you and me, our age kind of sort
Yeah.
of group, doing good things. Some younger people there too, younger guys in their 30s doing well for themselves and want to give
Yeah.
back to the
Yeah.
community, be a part of things. 80 people, all P1 Oriole primary,
Right.
Jim Palmer,
Right.
Rick Dempsey people. And I
Yep.
said, how many of you been to games? 3 or 4 went up. How many? Nobody goes to Oriole game. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, so they're gone. Now the Orioles are pissing off a lot of the people. They're blocking people on Twitter, doing crazy things. Meanwhile, the Ravens have had three bad, empty out, empty out. Everybody's gone in the fourth quarter. The
Yep.
people that are there want Harbaugh fired. We've had a
Yeah.
5 game losing streak. Now the Steelers on the other
Yep.
side
Are
had the
booing.
same booing, like booing Renegade,
Yep.
fire Mike Tomlin.
Fire Tomlin.
Aaron Rodgers is chippy about wide receivers running the wrong routes and whether they're practicing or not. My buddy Will Graves, it certainly sounded like he was the one asking these questions. He's coming on this week. It got everybody pissed off in the post game with Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers and Tomlin up in Pittsburgh.
Right.
They have
Right.
real reporters there asking real questions.
Right.
Imagine
Right.
that for a 6-6 team. These are this week for the head coaches that have been here since the
Big.
beginning of time,
Big.
right? Because I know one thing, they're one of these teams for sure is not making the playoffs. Might be
That's
both
right.
of them if Cincinnati comes on. But at this, and I know how you feel about Joe Burrow, but like this is going to be a really hard exit.
It
And
is.
if for one of these teams is not making the playoffs,
And
and the
somebody's going to have to
fans,
account.
I don't know what Bisciotti thinks watching the stadium empty out on Thanksgiving night.
I
The
don't
fact
know.
that you didn't get a gravy boat, somebody over there should fix that. But I'm just saying for ownership and fans and sponsors and ticket holders,
Yep.
and what the hell am I doing here on Thanksgiving night? I didn't even get a gravy boat, and it cost me
And
10
it was
grand.
cold.
And it was
And
cold.
depending
Right.
upon where your seat is,
Just
it was
in
colder.
a general sense
I'm
of
going
what
home.
they want fans to
End of
endure.
the third quarter, that place was lots of empty.
In a
We
way that
left-
I don't ever remember that in my generation being
Well,
like that.
surely it happens, but that was they were out, people were gone, they wanted to get home. Like you said, it was Thanksgiving night, it was cold, people were leaving. And so a lot of empty seats in the yard at fourth quarter time. We were there till 5 minutes to go ish. And when people complain about getting out of there, personally, I don't think that's an issue at all. I never have an issue getting out of the parking lot. I never have an issue getting out of the stadium.
I thought to myself, who are these fans that write
don't
for
know how
the
to drive,
president of the team
don't
who
know how to
are
drive.
pissed about traffic if they beat the Steelers
Yep.
by a nose hair on a 50-yard
Yep.
field goal because the game was compelling
Who
and everybody
cares?
stayed in their seats.
Yeah. How about
Sashi
Sunday
Brown.
night? How about Sunday night ball? Denver Commanders. I can't even say that. Denver, Washington.
Tickets were $12 for that.
Was an amazing
Sunday night,
football game.
Yeah,
what a
great game.
football game. And if you were there and didn't stay till 2 minutes to go in overtime to see what happened, shame on you. That was a phenomenal football game with a 3-8 team giving it everything they had, and almost won that game. Almost pulled out.
I mean, if you're committed to go into the game on a cold night and you care enough to get in the car and go, like, I've never understood that, Leonard.
I don't know.
I don't.
Look,
you know?
I guess if it's 50-0.
I've left a lot of Oriole games in the 7th inning on a summer night to come home to get an ice cream cone or whatever, because it's a Tuesday night against the Twins and the Orioles stink and it doesn't. And I guess if you're a Commanders fan, maybe that's the vibe. But like,
I don't know.
You go to a game to see a good game. You're there to the end.
If it's a good game, I'm staying.
And you don't write to the president of the Ravens and tell him that the traffic stinks. And if that's the number one thing on the president of the Ravens' mind at $100, shame on both of them in a general sense.
Look, I was there.
For not coming on here and talking to a guy who helped build the franchises here.
Yes, you were there, and I was there years ago at the Seattle game. You know, they came back from way down and won that game. I give them every chance that I believe they could come back from. And only then, and when my son and wife are looking at me saying, can we go now? And I say, no, we can't go now. Then finally it's like, all right, it's.
What was the greatest day you ever had at a Ravens game, Leonard? What was the day? Was the
Super Bowls were fantastic?
No.
You mean at this
stadium to get in your car with your son, your wife, before your son was around, with your beer buddies back in the 90s, when your wife was pissed at you for going to the Super Bowl instead of buying her a couch. Like, it's 26 years ago. So, like, for me, there's only one answer, and it's through my wife's eyes, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember beating the Chargers in the Super Bowl year and making the playoffs for the first time. That was an amazing day. Beating the Broncos, amazing. Like, fantastic. Losing to the Colts in 2006 was an amazing, awful night. But
home game, Minnesota.
The snow game.
Five touchdowns in the last 5 minutes or whatever.
So 100%, that's the number one game. Anyone who went to that game, that'll be your favorite Raven game of your life.
It was amazing. Now, if we're talking anywhere, anytime, the Mile High Miracle was
incredible.
Over the top.
Yes,
over the top. We were 6th row. Right there.
Dude, when Ray Lewis took the ball from Eddie George in Nashville.
I was there for that.
That
was fantastic.
I mean, so there were when we walked off the field in Oakland and we were going to a Super Bowl, we won. But at this
Tony
stadium,
Siragusa, how
all
about
the Ray
that
Lewis dances
on Gannon? I'd have tackled my mother to get to the Super Bowl.
At this stadium, experientially,
Minnesota was pretty damn
Minnesota's right. The Minnesota snow game.
The Seattle comeback was big.
Okay.
It was really big. And again, I give them every minute to get there.
And all of those things happened because you stayed at the end.
Of course. Yeah, you can't leave. You can't.
Shannon Sharp catching the ball against Jacksonville.
Absolutely. No reason to leave.
Last thing that happened that day, right?
How horrible was it to play Jacksonville? I hated them. What was his
name? Jimmy Smith?
Mark Brunell. Oh, my God. They killed us.
Hall of Famer Tony Baselli.
They killed us. That was
Keenan
a rivalry
McCardell,
that was
Jimmy
just
Smith.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Who was the running back?
Fred Taylor.
Fred Taylor. Wasn't there another one? I don't remember. They were a menace. Was so glad to see the realignment and get them out of our hair.
Well, we had like 6 teams in division. Leonard Raskin's an old schooler. He's been going for Oriole relief pitching. No.
Let's talk this. Let's talk the real. Let's talk the real pro team in Ohio. Forget the Bengals.
Where are you on stomping on the Michigan M and all of that? Is that like stealing the team goat?
They didn't do that. No, they didn't do that. Well, you know what's funny? Think about this.
There's so much hatred in that rivalry.
Oh, it's
There's
so
no
fantastic.
respect.
It's
hatred.
fantastic. Think about this. How crazy is it? And I don't know when they did this, right? If you're Michigan, when did you as a team, think about this for a minute, When did you as a team with your coaches come together and say, if we lose, protect the M? Was that part of the pregame coaching?
I think it's part of like recruitment that you don't mess with the M.
Yeah, but the
That's all.
point is, Ohio State, Ryan Day said, we will not be doing that. If we win the game, we will be celebrating and we will leave. And they jumped into the stands because there were 20,000 or so Buckeye fans in the crowd, and they celebrated with their fans. And then the fight song and the alma mater with the band. And then
They dotted the
Michigan
O.
players just
Michigan.
stood there,
Dotted the I.
just stood there on the M to make sure they didn't approach the M. Now, if you're the losers of that game, how do you plan for that? Do you say before the game, when we lose, protect the M?
Well, I mean, they play each other every year, and then the other team wins sometimes too. I know,
right?
Didn't for a long time.
Michigan's won the last 4,
right?
But over the last 26 years, they've won like 6 out of 26. So they're all high and mighty, and of course, the boy, our answer is it's easier to win when you cheat and know which plays are coming, which they did for 4 years. And the only thing that didn't happen, which I don't understand the NCAA for this one bit, except that they're losers, they didn't vacate their national championship, which they should have. But they banned Harbaugh from coaching in college for 10 years. They fined them fortunes, not by their standard, but by our standards.
That's a good question for John Harbaugh. Good prick question for me. How do you feel about your brothers' indiscretions at the collegiate level of being a known
cheater,
a sophisticated
cheater,
scheming cheater?
And he's banned for 10 years, major fine. And what did he do? He left his assistant to take over and deal with it while he went to the Chargers.
Can I ask you a really sophisticated question since you're into this and you hate Joe Burrow and his LSU thing?
No, I don't hate him.
I'm asking you
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
This might come off as a little street, but I want to be.
No, go ahead.
Is Lane Kiffin a hoe?
Okay, that's a great question. You know what? I've thought about that. I've actually thought about, not hoe, but I've thought about this thing that's happened. And I guess, when people last year, let's go back a year for a minute. When people last year in Ohio were calling for Ryan Day to be fired because he suffered his fourth loss against that team up north, and they wanted him fired. What I was thinking to myself then was, who do you want to come in and coach? Okay? And then all he did was run off 4 games and win the national championship last year. And now 12-0 this year, which makes him 16-0 since the Michigan loss. And here's the craziness, Ness. If they don't win the national championship this year in Ohio, it'll be okay because they beat Michigan. But last year, people still wanted his head because he lost to Michigan. Now, here's my question for the assembled we, whoever. What is the pinnacle, I guess, of college football? I don't know the answer to that anymore. It used to be.
If you're a coach, it's making the most amount of money.
Well, it used to be the pinnacle was winning a national championship. So he had an 11-1 team at Ole Miss. And I don't know that they'd have won a national championship, but they'd have played in the playoff and been pretty good. They're a good team. And if he's recruiting,
the Ole Miss brand is a pretty good brand, man. As far as these brands go, it's what they all are.
They haven't done anything much in a long time till Lane came along. But he's proven there that he can bring in great people. And if he's saying that in the NIL era that he needs more money to bring players to the program that can win a national championship, 11-1 and the opportunity was right in front of him. Now,
Mississippi is a poor red state,
Right, but if Ole Miss said to him, we can't provide X amount of dollars for you to go buy players, and truly LSU said, doors open, we'll give you X for your players, then in this day and age where players are leaving every year in college you got to re-recruit your team. They're all free agents. That's what's
If
going
you don't
on.
have enough money, you're not going to win.
Right. So if that means you go to LSU and you get $12 million a year to coach, and they're going to give you enough money that you can only lose if you stink, that now you have the opportunity to win a national championship and at the pinnacle and get paid. Ho or not, that's the face and vision of college football right now.
I went at the Urban Dictionary and I put this up. I mean, obviously, ho is like but from a street lingo from
yes,
schoolyard, what they call locker room talk.
Yes.
It means they have no interest in an actual deep relationship with their partner. They find someone else and move on. So forget the sex and the money and the hooker part.
He's been there 5 years.
A hoe just means like you have no interest in a deep relationship. It means you want to move on. That's all.
And he had 6 years, and he turned Ole Miss into a football team that had great promise, and $12 million and a pot of gold and a chance to win a national championship with highly paid players is more attractive, and we'll see where he goes from here.
It's just a different game.
But
that's
the pinnacle, there's no
doubt. It's a different game than when your kid ran off to Ohio State 6 years ago, right? Like
right.
Literally.
Even 6 years ago. You're absolutely right. The pinnacle apparently is national championship. Here's my point about that. At a major big program, it's not just national championship. It's national championship at a major big program, and that's why he ran to LSU.
I just wonder what the reckoning all the way down to Maryland losing 8 games in a row and like people expecting the Vanderbilts and the Rutgers because of what Indiana's done. Or it reminds me of 50 years ago with what Georgetown did on the basketball court.
BYU's
to think that you're just going to do that in other places. Gonzaga,
BYU's bringing in great players and making that a football power because they've got big money there in Utah. There are lots of schools that weren't before that are now able to compete because they don't compete on just we can win. They're competing on we've got the best facilities and we can pay you $2 million to be our quarterback.
We're from a state where there's a lot of rich people like Florida or Miami or whatever.
That's right. There's a lot of rich people everywhere, my friend.
Leonard Raskin is here.
Some of them are actually willing to pay for the boosters.
And some of them have invested their money wisely as well. Leonard Raskin helps folks do that. Yes. He follows the American dream. Give your elevator speech real quick for the holidays.
Sure,
let everybody go. Because we've already talked hose here. We'll move on. It's Pittsburgh week. We got plenty of things happening here.
Pittsburgh week. And if you want to go to the game, buy a ticket. They're cheap online. And your American dream is to go see the Ravens Pittsburgh. This is the week to do it because I looked online and they're actually fairly cheap for tickets. So get out there, enjoy your wealth. Don't wait for tomorrow. Save for tomorrow, absolutely, but don't sacrifice the now for the then. The then may never come. You got to protect, you got to save, you got to enjoy what you have, and don't wait for someday and hope it comes and go to the grave with a big bank account. It's not worth it.
Yeah, my buddy Jason Seymour comes on the show once in a while. He's a Wanderlust guy. He's in a rock band. He worked for the Orioles for a bunch of years. Back in the Orioles day, he did all the videos back in the Brady Anderson era and all that. But he's my friend.
Yep.
He wrote the Oriole baseball song, all that.
Sure.
And like I invited him on sort of I'm putting together a little sojourn in the spring. I don't want to jinx or talk about it, but I'm going someplace that's relatively inexpensive against the world where like rooms are $500 a night in London. And I'm like, I'm not going to see Bryan Adams there. I might go see him in Bogota, Colombia instead. So I'm putting together a trip where things are really inexpensive. And I'm thinking like, who would want to go, who could drop everything and run off to, South America where my people are from. So he wrote back to me. He's like, I can't go. He said, but he always encourages me, kind of like my AI clone. You should 100% go. You know how I feel about that.
That's right.
He's pointing his finger at me saying,
that's right.
If you think you should go, if you can afford to go. And you want to go.
That's right, because nobody wants to be going to Europe in a wheelchair or using a walker when you could have gone 20 years ago.
I'm saving Alaska for that on the cruise. I keep telling everybody that.
That'll
be my sedentary. By the way, one of my dear friends, one of our great guests, Tim Wendell, longtime baseball writer, has written all sorts of New York Times. He's in Antarctica right now, posting pictures with penguins.
So that's crazy stuff.
That is crazy.
So I got to give one last thing we got to say. I think we got to say it because you and I have both lived it, loved it, been there. Shout out to the Pappas family.
Oh,
lost dad the founder of the greatest crab cake in the world, uh, and the best applesauce. So if you have a chance, stop by, go say hi to the gang.
Get a
Send our
twice baked
condolences.
potato and get the chicken franchise for me because I love
Send
that.
our condolences to the our friends at Pappas for the loss of Dad
Beautiful
there.
family, beautiful local
Absolutely,
family, and people
absolutely.
always ask me how people get along. I mean, when Mr. Costas passed, I mean, the Pappas family, and they were very close, and just
Yep.
a tough year, a tough holiday. So my heart as well
Right.
to
Lost
Justin, Jeannie, everybody that
lost
I
lost
know.
Costas and now Pappas. You can't find two greater uh,
Institutions.
right in Baltimore eating and Baltimore crabs. And so a shout out to the family, Justin, and everybody there to say,
Yeah,
hey, we're thinking of you.
absolutely. I threw him a text the minute I found out. So thank
Absolutely.
you for bringing that up. Leonard
Yes,
Raskin's here.
sir.
We'll be doing a cup of Super Bowl in February. I'm putting my dates together for that. Pizza John's. We're going to be at Coco's. It's our next trip to some of our great sponsors, but we're going to be at Costas and Dundalk for the holidays. Also going to be at Fadley's next week. It's all part of the Maryland Crab Cake Tour presented by the Maryland Lottery. Whew. All the dates are up at Baltimore Positive. Back for more right after this. Stay with us.